All right, hello. Just a second here. Let me get this down. All right. Yeah, coming to you. Turn down this monitor here a little bit. Don't want you to get that echo, or I don't want to get it either. All right. Hey, everybody, welcome. This is the BFTAA and More show coming to you on a Monday right here in Kansas City from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center located at 4510 East Linwood Boulevard. We ain't been on the 50s in a bunch of years, but yeah, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri. And we are so glad that you're able to join with us today as we bring you another episode of the BFTAA and More show. See if I can adjust this a little bit. Got a few levels off. Yes, now the KUAW stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. So you're listening to us right now on KUAW, the media arm of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. Yes, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is celebrating this year 20 years of serving the families, the communities in the urban core and underserved areas of greater Kansas City, bringing technology, closing the digital divide. That is what we're about. That's what we've been doing for 20 years. 20 years this year. We started back in 2004, and we incorporated in 2005, and we're still going today. So we're celebrating all year long. If you or anyone you know has been a part of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, received services from the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, or volunteered or in any way been affected by the work being done by the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, we would ask that you would please let us know. We'd like to get some testimonials, some words, and some encouragement as we go into this next 20 years. Getting a little chilly in here. Just a second, I'll be right back. Got to get my screen over here. Want you guys to just sit back and relax for a hot second. I'll be right back. I'll give you a little bit of our information. All right, here we are back again. So, as I said, this radio station, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, was brought together by the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, a 45-year-old organization here in Kansas City, Missouri, and the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, which we've been here for 20 years in Kansas City, Missouri. So we're just glad that we're here. We came together, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. We call it KUAW. So this is KUAW, and we're glad to be with you today. Well, it's Monday, and I'm wearing, I'll have to show you. Yes, if you see that on the screen right now, the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. They're all in for Super Bowl number 58. So I got on some of my attire. Yesterday there was an exciting game we watched as Patrick Mahomes and company were able to advance, beating the vaunted Baltimore Ravens, which was thought to be in the Ravens' favor, but the Chiefs did bring out a victory there. So it was a big defensive struggle. Wasn't a whole lot of points scored, but the Chiefs came out victorious, and they are now on to the Super Bowl for the fourth time in 5 years. They've really been racking up the visits there. They won 2, lost 1, and we're getting ready in a couple of weeks to see if we can add number 3. And if we add that number 3, it will be back-to-back, which hasn't been done in quite a few years that any team has did back-to-back Super Bowl wins. So it's a chance for us to tie a record, to start moving forward in history. And it was just a great thing to watch that game. I didn't go to the game as it was in Baltimore, And I probably won't be at the Super Bowl either, but I'm going to be there rooting for them right from my living room or wherever we decide to be if there's a Super Bowl party or something going on somewhere. But I tell you, Kansas City is getting to where we're really getting spoiled with all of these AFC championships, Super Bowl appearances. We went so many years here in Kansas City that we didn't have that type of team. We've been in the playoffs. It wasn't a total drought because the Chiefs have put together teams that have made it to the playoffs. But after the first Super Bowl win we had in Super Bowl number 4, we were on a drought of showing up for about 50 years. And it was really a long time. We got all the way up to some AFC games, but we never seemed to be able to get past the AFC title game. So we didn't win any championships in that time, even though we had made the playoffs. I think under Marty Schottenheimer, we had 2 or 3 appearances in the AFC championship game, but we didn't come away victorious. But since the era of Andy Reid, and Andy Reid took us to the playoffs even before Patrick Mahomes, but we didn't get to the Super Bowl. And then we brought Patrick Mahomes in. They have been almost unstoppable. This year was a bad year because we didn't win our division to have all of our home games. All of the playoff games here in Kansas City, which we've had for about 5 years. So we actually had to go on the road playing from the wild card week on. So they've played 3 weeks in a row, but they have earned themselves the opportunity, the chance, to go to the big dance. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be sitting down, glued to our sets. I went out right after the win. We ran around to a local sporting goods store and picked up the AFC champion T-shirt. I'm going to hold off getting those because the next T-shirts I get, I want them to have Super Bowl on them. But it's just a good feeling here in the city. Everybody was kind of upbeat after the game. We had to wait in line to get into the stores to get the shirts, but it was all the weather was decent and it was all in good spirits. Everybody was waiting and just really excited about what the Chiefs have done. So for you cities that haven't enjoyed that or haven't had a Super Bowl run in quite a few years, it's something. Also want to give our hats off to Mr. Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. He's going to be the MVP, or he is the MVP of the league this year. But, they gave it a good try, but they weren't able to bring it out. It was a good game. It was virtually a clean, hard-fought game and a good game. So the Ravens have nothing to hang their heads about and stuff. They put up a good one there, and hopefully they'll be back again next year and that the Chiefs will be back again with them. But it's hard to do in this league is to go back to the Super Bowl again and again. That's why it's really something that the Chiefs have been there so many times here regularly. That's an accomplishment. So Kansas City, you should be proud of your Chiefs, proud of all the hard work that's been going into it. All right. So, we also want to say congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers. We met them in a Super Bowl once before. Looks like it's deja vu all over again. The Detroit Lions put up a good fight. They had a good lead, but the San Francisco 49ers hung in there and just didn't give up and ended up coming from a 24-7 deficit to win the game. So, it was some good football yesterday. A lot of people were glued to their sets. I didn't think I was going to watch the second game that diligently, but, man, I got into it, and I was there on the set again, couldn't get away. But, we're glad for it, and it's a good feeling here in town. All right. So we've got other things to get to today, though. We got to talking a little bit last week about AI, artificial intelligence, and there's been a lot of information coming on that. We also have what is called Black History or Negro History Month that will be starting this week, February of every year, Negro History Month, although we know that black history is American history, is world history, and is 365 days a year. So we're going to be looking at some history in particular. But if you tune into this station on a regular basis, you're going to hear some of the things that have been done for, by, and of African Americans, about Africans in general, from the whole diaspora, the Caribbeans, from the European continent, in Asia. There are dark-skinned people all over the world, and they have been doing fantastic things as much as others in history. So we try to give you a little bit of that anytime it comes up, and that we can talk about it not just in February, but we will celebrate February as the Negro History Month, started by Carter G. Woodson for quite a few years. I think it was back in the 20s and 30s. I'll get that as we get ready to roll into it this year, the exact dates and stuff, but it's been around because it was needed. And right now it's even needed more because African American history is being attacked. Some saying it's to make people feel guilty or to make people feel less. And no, it's about telling the truth, about getting the word out, about uplifting people. It's not to denigrate any person and stuff. It's to lift somebody up. So telling the history or teaching complete history should not make anybody feel bad. It's like that's how we learn. You know, you have to know what has been before so that you don't repeat some of the actions again if they weren't worth repeating, or that you can repeat actions that are good because you know what's been done. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. But we have to know the truth. So that's one thing that we're doing. And some people, like I say, are a little taken back about diversity or about teaching black history or black studies or any of that, which is just because of the name, because we've been getting history from a European perspective for years and stuff, and that's presumed to be just normal. But to leave out the efforts of peoples that make up maybe a third or more than a fourth of the world's population from the history is kind of not right. So as we go forward today, we will talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about a new news outlet that's in Kansas City. I just signed up for it. And a lot of the stuff that you see or hear me talking about comes from different outlets that I subscribe to that are out there. And you should subscribe to more than one paper, more than one news source, and not just go by what one group or one paper says, but to look at a lot of different information so that you can form a well-rounded opinion about things. Because if you get all your news, all the information from one side, then you may not have a complete view of what's going on. So we try and get more. And we're also going to go into NASA, which we do all the time because this is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and we are about closing that digital divide. And we're going to give you some information, some things that are coming up, not really open to the public, but we're going to be out and about in the city. So before we go any further with some of that that's going on, we're going to go now to some of what we usually bring in, and that's what's going on this week at NASA. NASA is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, a division of the United States government that is heavily invested and does research and development in flight, in electronics and technology. They have been the premier space exploration organization of the world, and so we like to share you what's going on there. And we like to bring it up because kids and families should be looking at NASA, looking at places like that for jobs. We need STEM people, and STEM people need to have a place to go where that their creativity can be exposed and used. And hey, NASA is a good place for it. So let's go right now and see what's going on just a second this week at NASA.
What's up for December? The best views of the moon and planets, the Geminid meteors are set for a great show, and a chance to observe an asteroid with your own eyes.
That's not the one I want. Here we go.
Remembering our fallen heroes, an agency town hall to talk safety, and the end of an historic mission on Mars. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. Our annual Day of Remembrance observance at Arlington National Cemetery took place on January 25th. The event honors the astronauts of Apollo 1, Space Shuttles Challenger and Columbia, and other members of the NASA family who lost their lives, furthering the cause of exploration and discovery for the benefit of all. Earlier in the week, we hosted an employee safety town hall at the agency's headquarters in Washington. During the event, NASA leadership discussed how the core value of safety embraced around the agency every day is the cornerstone to achieving mission success for NASA. Our Ingenuity Mars helicopter, the first aircraft in history to make a powered controlled flight on another planet, has ended its mission after almost 3 years on the red planet. While landing during a recent flight, one or more of Ingenuity's rotor blades sustained damage and the helicopter is no longer capable of flight. Ingenuity, which was designed to only perform up to 5 experimental test flights over 30 days, made 72 flights and flew more than 14 times further than planned, while logging more than 2 hours of total flight time. Axiom Mission 3, the third private astronaut mission to the International Space Station, docked to the orbital complex on January 20th. The Axiom space crew was welcomed aboard by the station's Expedition 70 crew, including NASA astronauts Jasmine Mogbelli and Laurel O'Hara. The Axiom space astronauts are expected to remain on the space station until February 3rd. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more about what else we're up to, check out nasa.gov.
Wait a minute. Here I am, yes. All right, that's what's happening on NASA. So, yeah, the helicopter, remote helicopter or drone that they had up on Mars damaged the rotor, not able to fly anymore, but really flew longer than was expected or assigned for it, and it went on a lot of missions exploring the Martian surface. So, sometimes they send things up that's supposed to last for maybe 15 days or a month or something, and it goes on and works for a year or 2 years. The rover that they had on Mars for a long time spent more than 5 or 6 times the amount of time that it was supposed to be operational. So a lot of these things are well made, and when they go up there, they're collecting information. They were able to still be able to get the data off of the damaged drone, but it's just amazing the things that they can do and what we're finding out about different planetary bodies, asteroids, planets, moons, that we're actually going there and touching and getting samples or getting real data off of these planets. I mean, when you think about it, it's just amazing what's going on in the world right now. So we're going to continue with NASA because as we say, we want to close that digital divide, and we can do that by getting involved in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, the STEM program. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's what our organization is about, getting children, getting families, getting you to get involved with STEM, to want to know a little more about it, to try and learn what you can. Everybody's not going to be a rocket scientist. Some of us that are a little more mature or up there in age and stuff, it's just good enough if we can pick up the phone and see our grandchildren or make emails and send photos to friends and family far away. And for some, that's enough, and that's good. We just want to make sure that we're using this digital technology to help improve our day-to-day living, what we do, how we communicate, how we interact with each other, how we spread news. So we're going to go right now to Space to Ground from NASA. Here we are, Space to Ground.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Kayla LaFrance. 11 astronauts and cosmonauts from 8 countries are living and working together aboard the International Space Station this week. More on that in a moment. But we begin on the Florida Space Coast, where teams on the ground are putting the final touches on the upcoming NG-20 launch. NASA's 20th Northrop Grumman mission is slated to launch no earlier than January 29th from NASA's Kennedy Space Center, and will take essential supplies, experiments, and equipment to the orbiting complex. After launch, the cargo vehicle will spend the following 2 days in orbit as it approaches and rendezvous with the space station, where the crew on board will capture the Cygnus spacecraft with the robotic arm and berth it to the Unity module. Among the cargo is some notable scientific investigations that the Expedition 70 crew will execute. This includes a technology demonstration from the European Space Agency to further understand the capability for 3D printing of small metal parts in space. The University of Kentucky's Re-entry Probe Experiment 2 will research conditions that spacecraft experience during atmospheric re-entry, and a robotic surgery tech demo that hopes to test the performance of a small robot that can be remotely controlled from Earth to perform surgical procedures. Live coverage will be provided for both launch and berthing operations, so follow us on social media or watch it on NASA television, the NASA app, the agency's website, or on NASA Plus.
Space to Ground.
The 4-member private astronaut crew of Axiom Mission 3 docked to the orbiting laboratory on January 20th. Once the hatch was open, the crew was greeted with smiles by the entire Expedition 70 crew. The Axiom 3 crew spent the weekend getting familiar with the space station systems and emergency procedures before starting Monday with a full schedule of science and media activities. The Axiom space astronauts are expected to depart from the space station February 3rd for a return to Earth and splashdown at the landing site off the coast of Florida. Each year on the 4th Thursday in January, the Space Agency pauses to honor members of our NASA family who lost their lives while furthering the cause of exploration and discovery. On the Day of Remembrance, we celebrate their lives, their bravery, and advancements in human spaceflight.
All right. That is Space to Ground from NASA. As they say, we want to take a few seconds, a moment of silence
My
for
mail usually doesn't come in this
many
theme box.
who have lost their lives in the conquest or in the exploration of space. So NASA recognizes those people that have lost their lives. A couple of the space shuttles that actually had accidents and everyone aboard was killed, and the Apollo capsule that caught fire on the launch pad that didn't leave the ground and killed 3 people there. So it's not without its dangers. Space is still a dangerous place, and there's not a lot of room for error. So we want to take our hats off to the brave men and women. We get kind of used to it. We see people coming and going. We hear there's another space launch. There's people going to space. And it kind of seems every day, but it is a very hostile environment that they're going into. And it still is an extremely dangerous thing, although it's exciting, and I feel that is definitely worthwhile. It is definitely something we should be doing as a peoples here on Earth. All right. So as we get ready to go into the next thing, we're looking at some news. There's a new company, a new news outlet in town, and it is the Kansas City Defender. The Kansas City Defender is a newsletter, newspaper, website. It's doing a lot of the 21st century news publishing. It's not necessarily going to be delivered to your front door as a paper, but it is out there. And I subscribed to it today. I subscribed to a few. And Ryan Sorrell, Ryan Sorrell is the founder of the Kansas City Defender and the primary author of the newsletter. Once a week, he says we're going to be serving up the biggest news and trends shaping Kansas City arts, culture, politics, housing, policing and surveillance, tech, and more. He said he started this because I know most people have jobs, kids, and are dealing with everything else life throws at them, so it can be difficult and tiresome to stay up to date with what's happening in the city. So I've taken it upon myself to curate the most important news in a smart, concise, no words minced fashion. Says I value your time, so our newsletters will almost never take more than 3 to 5 minutes to read. So to make sure that the newsletter gets to your primary inbox, if you use Gmail, you can do that on your mobile. Tap the 3 dots in the right corner, move to, and select primary. On your computer, hit the back arrow. So there's a lot of ways that you can subscribe to this newsletter, and Ryan is there to do it. It says, you're a part of this, and I always welcome your thoughts and feedback. To reach me, please just hit reply, and your email will go directly to my inbox. Grateful for the world's most interesting and demanding audience. So they depend upon reader donations to amplify the black experience and maintain our platform. If you have the means, please support our black-owned outlet. Support black news. So that is the KC Defender, and they picked that name to give homage to the Chicago Defender, which was one of the early African-American newspapers that had a wide circulation and many readers that kept them up on the news of things that weren't being carried in the major news outlets. So that's pretty good. And I'm going to check out their Facebook page and see some of the things that they are printing. Let you know the Kansas City Defender has things out there on the page. I'm looking at it now. 12 gets to KCPD held its first major citywide recruitment event, and less than 15 people showed up. Whoa, that's something there and stuff. It says community. That's kind of strange. Community organizations have long called for the massive $260+ million budget that goes to the racist department to instead be redistributed to essential resources like affordable housing, health care, mental health, fresh food and grocery stores, and more. It doesn't help that the first white cop in Kansas City history who was convicted for murdering an unarmed black man at his own house, Cameron Lamb, is fully supported by the current white police chief, Stacey Graves, who is advocating for the racist white killer cop to be pardoned. So, and they say a mass exodus is underway at KCPD since being ranked top 5 worst police departments in the country and being investigated by the feds for racism and discrimination. So we definitely have some things that have to be worked on with our Kansas City Police Department. But that's what you can find on the Kansas City Defender page that they are putting out. So we don't know how long, but they are out there now. and it's a broadcast and media publishing company. They have other news in here. Serial killer case found in Missouri River, a new victim. Clay County prosecutor admits greater public safety threat than initially stated. In an alarming revelation, the remains of Janie Crosdale was discovered in a barrel floating in the Missouri River. Police have been searching for Carsdale since January of this year after having identified her as having crucial information regarding the case of alleged serial killer Timothy Hazlitt Jr. Interesting. So this is some of the news that's coming out of the serial killer that was in the community. So that's something that we have to be aware of. That people were complaining that the police weren't investigating it. Now more and more it's coming out that, oh, maybe there is something to what the people are saying. So the Kansas City Defender, you can check them out. They have a page on Facebook. They have, let's see, what do they got? Facebook. They have a web page, Kansas City Defender, all one word, .com. Their Gmail is kansascitydefender1@gmail.com. They're located in Kansas City, Missouri, and they're not rated yet, no reviews. So check them out. Give them some reviews. Hit them up. Let's see what you think about the Kansas City Defender and the news that they are bringing forth in Kansas City. All right. Now, we talked a little bit last week. One thing we talked about was the child tax credit expansion that's coming. I don't know if that's been voted on yet, but they're looking to put more money maybe into the pockets of parents with children that are among, say, the working poor, so that you will have a little more money to spend. That they started that during the COVID pandemic, and found that by that tax break was able to lift millions of kids out of poverty, out of the poverty ranks. So that tax cut can be generated again, and it's going before the House in the coming weeks. We'll keep an eye on that and hopefully bring that to you. All right, as we talk about AI, there's a lot of ways you can look at AI and play with it if you want to learn more about it. If you have a PC or a tablet that you use Microsoft Edge, which is a web browser, and Bing is the Microsoft search engine. If you've got that on your computer, chances are, and you're not a business, if it's just your personal, then you have access to Microsoft Copilot, which is actually an AI chatbot. And you can use it to do all the things that they're talking about with AI for free. It's right out there. Microsoft is putting it out there. If you want to go on and see about it, writing you a letter or generating a picture or doing all this stuff that you're hearing about AI, you can go on your computer. If you have a PC, it'll even work on Chrome and Safari. So if you have an Apple or a Mac, they'll just have to download the Copilot. But you can practice, or you can play with it, or you can just see what AI can do and if there's any benefits to it. Doesn't cost you anything. There's a lot of sites that tell you how to use or how to try different things on it. There's groups on Facebook and YouTube that'll help you with AI. But you can go in there and just tell it right now to write a letter about something and see what it does. See what it gives you back. Play around in it. You don't have to give it no personal information. Don't tell it a whole lot of things. Just ask it to tell you briefly what's the best way to go somewhere. Where are the best restaurants in Kansas City? And see what it comes back with. You can play around with it. You can see what it does. You can also come up with different pictures and stuff. You can tell it to make you a picture of a dog chasing a car, anything like that. And it will do it, and it may give you 2 or 3. If you tell it that didn't hit it, do it again, it'll do it again. So you need to practice with it. So Copilot in Bing is one way that you can start using AI. So you can learn everything you need to know about the Copilot and the Bing AI chatbot, its features, capabilities, limitations, and more. So Microsoft, and this is from the Tech Republic newsletter that you get, Microsoft has made a deliberate and undeniable commitment to the integration of generative artificial intelligence into its line of services and products. One of the most prominent examples of this integration is Copilot in Bing, which expands the open source foundation of ChatGPT and adds large language model capabilities to Microsoft Edge and Bing searches in the form of a ready-to-use chatbot. So Copilot is an additional feature of the Bing search engine that allows you to search for information on the internet. It was previously called Bing Chat, and searches in Copilot in Bing are conducted using an AI-powered chatbot based on ChatGPT. So, and it can also be used to generate content, reports, images, outlines, poems, based on information gleaned from the internet and Microsoft's database of Bing search results. As a chatbot, Copilot in Bing is designed to understand complex and natural language queries using AI and LLM technology. So I know what AI is artificial intelligence. I'm going to have to look up LLM technology, but it's got to be a way of language models. So without getting deep into the specifics of how AI systems work, the basic principle is that the more input data an AI can access, the more accurate and useful information can be produced. Copilot in Bing taps into the millions of searches made on the Microsoft Bing platform daily for its LLM data collection. So that's something that you can use, and it's free. If you have a computer, if you have Microsoft Edge, which that is the browser of Windows 10 and 11, if you've done your updates and stuff, you should have that on your computer. It doesn't cost anything. You can start playing with AI and learn a little bit more artificial intelligence and how it may be able to work for you, or if you want to stay away from it altogether. But that's something that you can look into. Now, AI is here. It's not coming. It is here today. And one of the things that we're learning, I just heard on the news that X, which used to be Twitter, is now blocking any searches for Taylor Swift because a deep fake or some deep fakes were made to impersonate Taylor Swift. And I didn't see any of them, so I don't know if it was not flattering or what, but they're trying to see about stopping it and not allowing things like that to happen, because deep fakes can be a problem. They're now made or getting made to where they can actually make you think that somebody, and somebody could do a deep fake of you and have you saying something you didn't ever say, and it's not you at all, but it can be created on the computer. So that's something, and they did that back in early 2000s or mid 2000s. I think the Saturday Night Live people did a thing on Obama and had him saying bad words and talking bad about Donald Trump and stuff. And he didn't have anything to do with it. They were doing it to show that this is something we really got to get a handle on, because you may see something on the internet, and before you react, if it seems really too outlandish, you might think, wait a minute, maybe I better check this out and see if this is a deep fake, if somebody's just trying to pull the wool over my eyes, because you may see something from a politician, or it doesn't have to be a politician. It can be from a school teacher or looking like you or your child, anything, and sounding like them, and making it hard for you to distinguish from what's real and what's not. So we need to be aware of that and make sure, because, I mean, people can call you. They're doing that with scams and stuff. They'll call your home and you think it's your grandchild on the phone, and it's not. But the voice is sounding exactly like them. That's how good the deep fakes can get now, is that they can make it sound like you and giving you information or instructions or something. So this is something that we're really going to have to watch in the future as it keeps moving, is how do we tell in the electronic media world real from false or fake? And not just in the media world, like I say, it could be on your phone. You could pick up your phone and you think it's a regular call from somebody. They can already spoof the number to make it seem like somebody you know's phone number. And then they can start telling you something and it's not real. So we've got some things coming down the pipe that we're really going to have to make sure that we find ways to identify deep fakes. Because, I mean, they can say that they're getting with the text companies and all of that. But, you know, if you have bad actors out there, they can be making this on computers themselves at their home. The information, the technology is already out there. The chat bots are already out there. The ability to do this is already out there. So just telling Microsoft or telling Facebook or YouTube to watch out for it isn't the answer. That's just a little Band-Aid, because it may just come in an email to you. It may come in a post on another network that gets started. So just trying to get the ones that are on the air now to stop isn't necessarily going to do it. So we've got to really be aware of that. And that's one thing that I hope we can start working on. Now, I want to tell you what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're actually going out to a Hickman Mills Middle School and going to be doing some technology demonstration and displays. This is not a public event. It's for the students, 8th grade students at the Hickman Mills 8th grade center. But Black Family, we go to schools, we go to community centers. We'll go anywhere to help people and to show people. We worked with the Black Veterans Organization to go down to one of the public housing projects and did robotics down there. We partner, we'll collaborate, but we like to bring technology so people can see it and want to get involved in it, so they won't be scared of it or think it's something that's not for them. No, we are deep involved in it as a community, as a people, so we go out and do it. We're going to be at Hickman Mills. If you have a student in the 8th grade or already know about the event that's going to be at the 8th grade center for Hickman Mills schools, come by the table, come by and see Black Family Technology Awareness. Also want to let you know, I failed to mention it, but you can pick up this broadcast all over the city. And right now, we're even being broadcast on our new collaborative partner, KOJH, the Kansas City Original Jazz House, that broadcasts from 18th and Vine. So if you have a radio, you're in your car, you want to hear some of the things from Black Family Technology Awareness Association or KUAW Radio, our talk shows are a part of KOJH 100.5 on the FM dial. So we're on KOJH 100.5. We're also on Get Me Radio, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You can pick us up on TuneIn, the TuneIn app. If you have a smart speaker like an Amazon speaker or Google, tell it to play KUAW Radio, and you can pick us up there 24 hours a day. KUAW is on 365-24. So anytime, go there. We play old school music. We've got some jazz, some blues. We've got some reggae. We've got a lot of different things that you can listen to. A lot of good, interesting talk shows. We've got some entertainment shows. We've got a lot of things that you can check out. So follow KUAW on Facebook, on YouTube. Listen to it in your car or where you're driving around town on 100.5 FM, KOJH, and you can listen to us there. So thank you for listening. I'm your host, Louis George Walker. This is the BFTAA and More Show. We'll be back again next Monday from 5 to 5:45. See you then.